Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing very well. So we are doing another declutter today. So we're doing my eyeshadow palettes, but I'm doing something a little bit different because normally I would show you everything and then kind of go one by one, but I have way too many eyeshadow palettes. So what I'm going to do is just show you what I'm getting rid of, because if I was to show you all of my palettes, I would be here for about a week. And I kind of took my time, decided on what I'm going to get rid of and what I'm keeping. So I'm going to show you guys in brands more than anything else. So there's a couple of like big brands that I'm going to be getting rid of, and then kind of some miscellaneous ones here and there. So let's just get into it. So we're starting off with Colourpop. So it's been a while since I've actually purchased anything from Colourpop, and if you have watched my videos for a while, or if you know me, I love Colourpop and I used to buy from them all the time, like stupidly all the time. And I still have a few of their palettes that I'm keeping, but these ones specifically I'm going to get rid of because they're really old, and to be honest I have a lot of similar color stories already. So first we have the Darth Vader palette, and I'm keeping like the big Star Wars one because I absolutely love it. This palette is really nice, but I think the color story has kind of had its time, so I am obviously going to get rid of this one. And then a couple other ones that I go along, obviously I'll mention some, but yeah, this one is going, obviously Feeling Bubbly, and I think this Wild Child one I got as like a mystery bundle. This one is just a bit too boring in my opinion. Like I think the color story is really nice, but it's just not something that I would always go for. And then Wild Child is like the really old style plastic casing, and yes, the color story is super duper nice, but again it's so old that I really haven't used it much. The Clay It Cool palette I really love. So this is essentially what I have like 2-3 times now. So this is very reminiscent to the Patrick Tar palette, and then also Makeup Revolution have come up with their own version. So those two I do prefer a lot. As much as I do love this and I love this color story, I have it already, so I don't need another one. The Not a Box of Chocolates I've had again for a while. It's absolutely stunning. It's such a nice color story for some like those dark nudes, but again I don't need it because it's quite old. This Big Poppy one I do love, like the colour story, and it's all matte tones. They're shades that I absolutely love, but I think they're just getting a bit older now because they are drying up. I've also got the Play It Jewel palette, and I've barely used this, but again my kind of whole rule was if I don't really use it then I'm not going to keep it, and I will probably pass this on to someone if they do want it. It's not super old per se. I think I got it again in a mystery box like last year, but I just don't play with it. So that was all my Colourpop palettes. And then next on my list is P. Louise. So again, very similar to Colourpop. I used to buy P. Louise all the time, non-stop, but now I've just realized that I don't need it, and a lot of her stuff is just not appealing to me. I personally feel that a lot of her packaging is just not for me. Like yes, I do appreciate the pink. This is part of their kind of Christmas, their first advent calendar, so that obviously shows how long I've had a lot of these, but a lot of it just doesn't appeal to me. So let's just go through them. So this is the palette that came in the advent calendar, and it's absolutely huge, and I think I've used it maybe twice. I have the bridal one, which is the XXL Bride, which I absolutely love. I'm keeping that one because I do love that color story a lot. Then we've also got the blush palette that was part of the collection. So this has got a nice selection of blushes. Then this is the darker tone of blushes, like these top ones I absolutely love, but I don't use them, so what's the point in keeping them? And then also part of that advent calendar was the bronzers. I think I've used like these two, which is fine again, but these I just don't need, and I'm not a makeup artist, and I only would ever put makeup on myself because I don't trust myself to do makeup on anyone else. Again, I just don't need them, and I've got too many bronzers and contours and blushes and stuff to be even like thinking about keeping these. And then lastly I have the money shop palette. I got this ages ago and I haven't used it in such a long time. It is a really nice palette. It's just so frustrating to get out of the box. So yeah, this is the palette. It is absolutely stunning, and I got it because the color story I absolutely love. I love green so much. It is one of my favorite shades, but it's just too bulky to kind of even try and use in a video now, because trying to carry it is like a mission itself. So those are all the P. Louise palettes I'm getting rid of. I thought I would lower the camera just because it's just so much easier to see, but these BH Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes I am finally getting rid of. I know I said I'd never get rid of them, but now I've grown up and I've realized that these have just dried out, and I was absolutely obsessed with these palettes when they first came out, and I still was using them until recently, and then I'm just like, nope, I just need to stop because I don't want to get an eye infection or a sty, because again, I've had these for such a long time. I will always cherish the memories that I had with these palettes. I know I'm being quite dramatic, but honestly, they gave me some really gorgeous looks. Pigments were amazing. They were limited edition, I believe. They came out with a ton of shades, but yeah, it's definitely time to say bye. Okay, now we have Beauty Bay. So these palettes I'm getting rid of because again, I have so many other palettes that have very similar color stories, or I just don't use them anymore. So this Blush, Bronze and Glow, whatever it is called, I just don't use this anymore. I do really like these a lot. This blush was still quite nice. It's a bit too deep for me, but I just have their kind of cream version, which I do really like, so I will get rid of this. The Midnight palette, these mini palettes, I got pretty much all of them, but I just don't use them anymore. This purple was stunning. These blues are really nice. This Rich palette, I do like this, but I have so many of this type of palette, and I'm always kind of purchasing the new palettes as well. Same with the Wilderness palette. Like, I think they recently brought this back out, but I just don't need it, and I think some of these matte tones are drying out because I've had it for such a long time. But it is a gorgeous palette. And this Identity palette, like, this is a really old version, so this is like the original packaging that Beauty Bay had, and I got this part of like a point system that they actually don't do anymore, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, I got this kind of, I'm not going to say for free, because I've obviously paid a lot of money to buy stuff to accumulate points to get it, and it was like this kind of color story where you would go down and just make an eye look, but I don't use it. So I mean, as much as I love Beauty Bay, they're constantly bringing out new palettes, so I'm always having a look at the color stories to see if they would really work for me. These have done me such great like eye looks, and I love the colors and the pigmentation. I always say they're super affordable for the prices. So if you want to get any of these big ones, they're always on their website and they're super good. Okay, so now we have Trixie. So I absolutely love this palette, and it kind of breaks me to kind of get rid of these two, but I just don't really use them anymore. So this is the Breakup palette that I got on Beauty Bay, and yes, these shades are absolutely stunning, and it's such a nice palette. I love kind of like the heart style of it, but yeah, I just don't really use them, and the color story is a little bit random, if I don't say so myself, but like, it did a really nice job. And then this Nighttime Realness I got on Beauty Bay as well, because obviously if you want to buy Trixie in the UK, you do get quite a few of their things on Beauty Bay. This palette was really nice, but some of the shades were super drying, and not crazy pigmented, just a tad patchy, and I feel like because I haven't used it in a while, I really don't need it. I wish I could get a lot more of their stuff on Beauty Bay, but it's just not always a priority. Like, I love watching Trixie's YouTube channel, she's so funny, and I love her and Katia so much, but these palettes just don't really need to stay, and I've still got a couple of her lip stuff as well. So this should be the last palettes of specific brands, and then after it's going to be like miscellaneous stuff. So first I have the Melt Blueprint. I'm finally getting rid of it because I realized as much as I do want to keep it, there's no point in keeping it because I don't ever use it, and who am I kidding, it wasn't as good. So as many times as I have used these shades, that just don't work, and I feel like the other palettes are amazing. I'm going to keep the Smoke one, the green one, because it's still really good. It's super pigmented, but this just is not very good. And then this Electrip one I got part of like a mystery box a while ago. It's just a selection of like very colourful shades. I just don't use this palette, so there's no point in keeping it, and I haven't bought from Melt in a while because it's so expensive to get shipped over, and nowhere in the UK I believe at the moment has any of their current stuff. So Beauty Bay used to have a lot of their stuff, but I think because of the, you know, the exchange and the kind of shipping was probably just not worth it. But it's sad because I love Melt and I used to buy almost everything. The last thing I bought was Universal Monsters collection, but again, that was very expensive to like send over, and as much as I still use it, it's just not worth buying anything more. It has to be very, very good for me to consider buying anything. But yeah, these two are going. Okay, so now I mentioned everything now is just from like one brand, from like different brands. So this is by Unicorn Cosmetics. I had wanted this palette for such a long time. I got it and then I barely used it. And I feel like some of the shades are not very pigmented. Like their matte shades are nice, but I just don't feel like this palette is as good as I wanted it to be. I do like the color story. I love the theme around it, like the skulls are amazing. I don't actually know if you can get this palette anymore, but I haven't bought from Unicorn Cosmetics in a very long time. There's just really, I haven't really caught up with anything new that they're selling. But yeah, this was okay while it lasted. Again, some of these shimmers are beautiful, but they just, yeah, it's not really for me. Next is Morphe. So this is the Jaclyn Hill Armed and Gorgeous. So obviously this is such an old palette, and I think I got this before Morphe closed in like their Stratford store, and I had this for a while. And again, this palette was nice. All the ones that I tried, there was no issue. So obviously back in the day when they first came out, they had pigment issues, but I didn't see any issues. I think I must have got stuff like well after all of that hype kind of died down. But again, this is such a nice colourful palette that is right up my street. Like these oranges are gorgeous and the shimmers are beautiful, but it's just time to go. Then we have NYX. So this was part of my project pan last year. I tried so hard to constantly use it and I used it every chance I got. It just didn't go down, and I feel like it has been a while and the lid doesn't actually close anymore, so if I was to maybe take it anywhere it would just break and go everywhere. It was amazing while it lasted. These matte shades I love using the most, and yeah, it's just time to go because they've got new packaging, new style of eyeshadows, so this was great while it lasted. Next we have Be Perfect. So this is a Carnival palette, the original one, by the way. So this was a purchase that I got not even too long ago. I just don't use it, and I feel like the shades are just a little bit too like out there for me. Like this yellow and some of these shades I would never really use. These highlighters I think are nice, but I do prefer the other Stacey Marie palettes, like the Interstellar one, and then the other palettes I can't remember, my brain is not working, but I do prefer them over this one. And I just feel like this is a bit like too chunky as well. Like the other ones are nice and thin, they are huge, but they have amazing colors in them, and I just feel like this one is not my favorite. Next we have Profusion. So this is the Rituals palette. So this was part of like a Halloween collection that came out maybe 2 years ago. I just don't feel like these shades are very good. They weren't very pigmented, and the you know, these here were really nice, but if you had a deeper complexion they wouldn't really work for you. And these colors themselves are nice. The shimmers are nicer more than the actual, you know, matte tones, and I only used it a couple of times and I thought let me keep it to actually use it a bit more, but I just didn't, so there's just no point in keeping it. Next we have Fenty Beauty. So this is the Bomb Posse eyeshadow palette. I got this ages ago at Boots and I do really like this palette a lot. It's the only palette I've ever purchased from Fenty, and it's super pigmented, the colors are beautiful, blah blah blah, but it's really old and I don't need it because I have again so many matte tone eyeshadow palettes. And yeah, it'll be a nice kind of just, it was great while it lasted, but yeah, I just don't need it anymore. Okay, Natasha Denona. So this is the mini pastel palette. I got this in, I think, a mystery box from like Sephora or something. I can't remember really. But these shades are just not for me. They're just really random. And to be honest, this green, is a nice shade, but I wouldn't really pair it with like this pink or anything like that to kind of get an eye look. I know it's kind of meant to be maybe used with other palettes, but I just can't be bothered with stuff like that. And yeah, it's probably you know, super expensive, blah blah blah, but I've already got another, I've got like another Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette that I prefer over this one, and I'd love to get her bigger ones, but yeah, I just don't have money for that. So this one is just still gonna go. Next we have this little stack by Sephora. So this is the Glitter Power, and this is okay because, I mean, again, you get one shimmer, you get this glitter shade which I have never used because I do not put glitter near my eyes, and then this matte tone which is stunning. I've used it a lot of times, and yes, it's very pigmented, but I can only do one look out of it, and it's just kind of a bit bulky for what it is. Like, it doesn't need to be this big, and you know, they are nice, they are pigmented, but it's just not my favorite ever. Okay, I've got two palettes left. So this is by Pat McGrath. So this was like the first thing I ever purchased from her site, and this was £8 because I feel like this was really old, so they were trying to get rid of it. But these are so good. Like, these were so pigmented, they are beautiful, the shimmers in them are stunning. I don't think you can get them on her website anymore because I think I got this like 2 years ago in itself. So the fact that it's super old, you know, it's still pigmented, but I'm not going to use it anymore. It's just been sitting there. And I do have a few other Pat McGrath stuff which I'm definitely keeping, and I think she's selling her brand, so I don't know if they're going to change or anything, but this was amazing while it lasted. And then the last palette I have is by Lorac. So I got this a very long time ago, and I think I used it once or twice. The only issue that I have is how big it is. Like, it is huge. It's an artistry book. I'm not an artist, I'm not a makeup artist or anything like that. I bought it because at the time so many people were talking about Lorac, and I thought, let me give it a go, and I absolutely loved these reds. They are stunning, but I haven't touched it since, so I don't know why I'm holding onto it or why I've not actually used it. But it is just gorgeous, and maybe in the future I might try some other smaller Lorac palettes if they're still coming out with them. I have no idea, but this is going to go because it's just too old. So that was everything. That's all the palettes I'm getting rid of. Of course, I still have like 100. So I have so many that I'm keeping, but it's only because I absolutely love those palettes and I really went through everything. I'm going to be doing my lipsticks very soon, so please don't forget to like and subscribe because I film and upload every time I get a chance to. Don't forget to follow me on all my social medias because I'm always active on there, and appreciate you sitting down listening to me ramble on. I hope to see you very soon. Bye.